You guys know who this is? Now, we're looking at the Lord of the Mysteries subreddit, and there's a person that's posting, "Need this MF Gine from the earth." Now, I don't know if that's a typo. The letter I is right next to the letter O. Maybe they're trying to, you know, not to type the actual word out, right? But basically, people are just saying, Chibi needs to die because of these tweets. And what is the context of these tweets? If we look at the actual post, it says, "People that can't separate fiction from reality has found my post. Can someone please make Rule 34 art?" How old is she? Actually, age doesn't matter in anime, remember? It's not even a hot take, right? It's not even a hot take that age genuinely doesn't matter in anime when you're like talking about, I don't know, your favorite character being sexualized, because of the mental gymnastics lolicons will use whenever there's like a demon lord that's 9,000 plus years old, even though it's clearly the body type of like a 9-year-old girl, right? So my always take with this is I care about not the age, but the body type and the mentality, right? The mental maturity. I know that mental maturity also gets used around, weaponized in the Mushoku Tensei fandom and other shows where they want to justify their like 40-plus-year-old man that's like, oh, he's mentally stunted a teenager, therefore he's actually not 40 years old. He's actually like 15 stuck here. That's why it's okay. I don't care. But these are the things I think that does matter when talking about sexual fantasy for favorite characters. It gets a little weird, huh? Freaky Chibi. Now, the origin of this post does come from this. I expect a lot of fan art over her the next few months. And listen, he doesn't straight up say, "I want to loot her." But if you're not familiar with this account, you know what he's talking about, right? He doesn't explicitly has it. When he says it, it's pretty obvious. My man is down bad on main 25-8, and that's just who he is. He ain't hurting nobody. He's just fucking too horny, right? He's always engagement baiting, way too horny. If you guys know about the Dan Dan situation, this is a man that constantly riles up schizos online to the point he gets doxxed and sent death threats because of posting manga panels, anime clips of overtly sexualized scenes. Absolutely, that is a thing that happens. Let's not, let's not like fuck around right now, right? That is absolutely the truth. I love the guy's content. I love his news coverage on YouTube. But on the Twitter side, he gets really freaky. So when he posted his tweet, people are basically mad, and then after he posted a tweet, people were actually pretty mad, right? Wait for the Tressie. Looks like Diva from Overwatch. Is Lord of the Mysteries good? Looter extra loot, blah blah blah. And then apparently there are some haters, right? And then this tweet happened. People that can't separate fiction from reality has found my post, and if you look at the actual tweet, hashtag kill Chibi reviews is crazy, right? Listen. This is basically like for people that's brand new, that's never known about Chibi, this is gonna seem like, what the hell? Random people are just gonna pull up and do a call to action like that? What you don't realize is this has been festering for many, many years. Chibi has a habit of, in my opinion, very poor crowd control online. And maybe it's intentional, right? Maybe this is his way of getting volatile, engagements, farming by just farming the schizos and trying to trigger them and just pour oil on them. I think there's gotta be a better way to do crowd control and maintain your public image, but this is why you'll have schizo accounts here saying, leave the child alone. They call him a pedo, right? They literally call him a pedo. They call, call to action to literally end himself. Stat away from her, you fat creep. Okay, first things first, spelling mistake, so already wrong. Second, I don't think Chibi's fat. If you've seen the guy, I think bro weighs like 60 pounds dripping wet. You can't really call him fat. Maybe a little creepy, right? He gets a little freaky, right? Yeah. You should have been used. Jesus Christ, man. But that's pretty much it, right? So like the reason why you see such volatile people that says this shit online, well, first of all, it's the internet. What do you expect, right? On top of that, it's been many, many years of him dogging on these people who, I think, again, any call to action like that, violence, stuff like that, doxing, absolutely disavowed. Those people should not belong on the internet, right? I think that they're mentally ill children who just don't understand how to separate reality from fiction and constantly goes out to hate on him. But regarding like his inflammatory statements, I don't know. I feel like he does get freaky, right? He is pretty weird online. Like I can acknowledge that I enjoy his content. I like farming his news coverage. A lot of it's like, negative doom posting about the industry, but they are real news happening. And after a couple of, and I've been watching this guy for a long time, but it's just the way that he handles himself is just so negative. Call me creeping hunger the way I lick the skin off his face. I think these are gonna be more like Lord of the Mysteries, like novel references, right? He's just rage baiting you all. I seriously hate people like him. It's true. He is rage baiting, right? I think he too would agree that he is rage baiting. Yeah, he's rage baiting us, but have you seen his profile? Half naked anime girls as room decor make it clear enough that he is an incel gooner. Well, I mean, having like the Estes, you know, body pillow and anime figurines and poster stuff like that, I feel like there has been a paradigm shift where you immediately call out, you know, fan service as just gooner content, right? People have become so like Puritan, I've noticed recently. I don't know exactly when it's happened. I remember back in the day, the no-fap movement was so funny to me. Every month, right? Sorry, every year, no-fap November or something, and it's just like motherfuckers writing posts about you're gonna gain superpowers if you stop jacking off, and I'm like, are you that delusional? But there are some people who are genuinely so deep into lust that they can't handle themselves. Porn addiction is a real thing. And based off of that, there's been a lot of movement around that. And more people, basically, whenever they see fan service, whenever they see anime figurines, and all these things that culturally, I think, signify the otaku fandom leading up to this year, that's been existing since like the 2010s and blah, blah, blah. Like because the anime community never used to be this mainstream. All these new people are coming in and you're just saying gooner incels because when you see fan service, you must be a gooner and you must be also just hating women, which I don't agree with. He has a girlfriend, by the way. I think he's married. I don't know if he's married. Doesn't he have a fiance? Anyways, he's got a girlfriend. So the odds of him doing the deed to Melissa's R34 pictures are non-zero. Oh yeah, I would agree with that. I think Chibi would jack off to Melissa R34. Yeah, he would. And is that weird? I don't really know enough about Melissa. I straight up, when I look at this picture, it's just the front torso above. They called her a university student. My first inclination when I see this isn't I need to jack off. I think, aw, what a wholesome and caring sister that looks for her retarded older brother. That's the feeling that I got after watching the first 2 episodes. And I can't see her in that light because she's like family to me and I want to protect her no matter what. That's the overall vibes that I've gotten, right? Especially with the end of episode 2 with Benson and Melissa pulling up for Klein, and it's, you know, it's like a big celebration. They got a new place, a new job, and I just can't see that. To me personally. Now, if you want to jack off to this girl, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you do you. I'm gonna think you're a little freaky, right? I need to see more. Like, it's like she's covered up. Like she's a schoolgirl, but Scrunchroll fucked it up. Oh, Jesus Christ. She's 16 at the start. She's a schoolgirl. I thought the sub said university student, but then again, the subs are just trash, right? Jesus Christ. Bruh, there's literally Dali. Oh, the corpse collector girl, right? Yeah, but like, Chibi he should have leaned into, you know, the corpse collector girl. You know, she was freaky and hot. She was scaring me and turning me on at the same time. But like going after Melissa like that, me personally, I wouldn't do it. I would think you're definitely a little freaky. But hey, ain't anybody, you know, a lot of people are a little freaky, right? Freaky Chibi. And how exactly does that change your life? Like, I don't know why y'all are so mad over what people are gooning to when it's literal fiction. You know, the concept of that is also really funny. Like, the idea right now is a bunch of grown-ass men policing others and moderating what you're allowed to goon to or not. Like, just think about that for a second. What the fuck? Dude, what? It's like, oh, I wonder what this guy's jacking off to. Ain't that just a little... I don't know. That's definitely freaky the more I think about it, man. Not trying to protect him because it is weird, but at the same time, what the fuck would I care about what drawing he beats it to? And that's the other thing too, right? Drawing. This is the constant argument that we hear all the time, right? Especially in the lolicon fandom of, oh, it's just like, hey, I'm a lolicon, and people will say, you're a pedo. And then other people will say, well, it's just a drawing. And then the counter to that is, could you plain explain to me what the drawing is of. And at that point, it gets very uncomfortable because now you have to say, it's a drawing of a sexualized prepubescent girl, but it's still 2D fiction, therefore I don't care. And to me, it's like, that argument is bullshit. I know that it is fiction, but like, if you have a tendency to jack off to those kind of body type girls, you probably fantasize about doing a little thing more. Now, I don't think you're a pedophile just because you're a lolicon. I think the word lolicon is also it has a spectrum. People immediately think pedo now. When you say lolicon, you're basically like a connoisseur, an enjoyer of lollies. Now, like let's say there's cute girls, right? Like for example, I don't know, Umi from Summer Pockets, right? Let's see Umi from Summer Pockets. Let me just bring this up right here. Because anytime we handle this kind of content, we have to really be careful with the the semantics. When I see Umi and she's making, you know, her fried rice every time, I think, God damn, she's adorable, bro. I want to just give her head pats, right? If you're typing would and that you would fuck her, I think you belong in a jail. Straight up. I think you are disgusting. You are genuinely a weirdo. You're not funny to me. And I think you're genuinely fucking weird. I see her. I want to give her head pats. I want to give her a hug. And that's it. Does that make me a lolicon? Now that I'm enjoying this cute girl? I think that there is a definition difference of like when things get sexualized, right? When there is a sexual charge placed onto being an enjoyer of this type of girls. And that's what people I think just call a lolicon, a pedo, right? Now, just because you want to beat off to this girl, I'm not necessarily going to think you're a pedophile. Because that literally assumes that you must have done the deed, right? But you probably do have pedophilic tendencies. It's a spectrum. It's not an absolute thing. It's a spectrum. And that's kind of where I'm at. So regarding like the drawing he's beating it to, listen, if he was beating it to children, that's pretty fucking weird, right? But at the same time, you do you, I guess. As long as you're not hurting anybody. I God forbid you actually do the deed, but there are weird tendencies and spectrums that does exist here. The drawing argument, I just don't think hold as strong as a lot of people think. Because we don't want people like that in our fandom. It might not be a big deal now, but if people like him start openly talking about this and making R34 of an underage child, then it makes the entire fandom look like that. No, it doesn't. It makes those people look like that. Don't generalize an entire fandom off of a couple people, no matter how much influence they may have. And no matter what you do, the more that you make a big deal out of this, the more R34 art there is gonna be about this. That's another thing online too, right? Anytime you don't want things to happen, the more that you like put a spotlight on it, talk about it, the more it's gonna be exaggerated, right? And R34 content will always happen. It's always gonna happen. There's nothing you can do about it, so just ignore it and move on. Lord of the Mysteries has over 2,500 characters COI included, and not even in one of those chapters was Melissa portrayed in a sexual way. Bro, just ignore him. If it's not to your liking, the general rule of thumb on internet is to ignore, as people are trying to fish for attention most of the times by doing this. You're giving him just that. Giving dislikes, discussing on other forums, commenting on his content, increasing engagement. And that is absolutely the case, right? Because if you look at the other tweets from Chibi, right? Not this. What's up, Saber? Horny posting, okay. Fate Unlimited Blade works with Casta tying up Saber in that altar. God bless Casta for putting her in that wedding dress. What I'm trying to show you is stuff like this, right? They really let a 5'3" short gremlin, fucked up hairline, cringe ass otaku that goon posts daily, then eats raw onions like apples, live in their heads rent free. Thank you for the engagement. I hope I get over $200 from Twitter in a week. And then if you look at it, he literally shares with you the analytics, right? He's farming. You can make money on Twitter. You just have to just post a lot. You have to post a lot. And hey, green numbers. It's going up. And he's also saying, you know, also the whole onion things. Apparently he does actually eat onions, bro. Straight up. Like, he bites, he eats this shit like an apple. What a monster, bro. You, fuck the Melissa stuff. This a Neanderthal. He eating a raw onion, bro. You should be making posts about that. And then here's the proof. Here's the actual proof of the onion. Hey, man. I mean, as long as it's not hurting anybody, you can eat your onions, I guess, if you want, right? I don't know. But, like, at the end of the day, right, this is his livelihood. And he's engagement farting. And it is creepy. I'm not going to deny that it's not creepy. Now, it's, I guess, I can't believe I have to. I just always love when I talk about topics like this because it's like the nature of what I'm saying. It's just so funny to analyze and compare examples. But I would much rather him goon to Melissa than Umi from Summer Pockets, right? Because there is clearly a difference between what a lolly is. I look at Melissa, I don't think she's a lolly. Now, she is still not a grown-ass adult in the actual show, right? And I'm sure some motherfuckers are gonna show up in the comment section and say, actually, Kaka TV, back during the steampunk Victorian era Industrial Revolution days, the age of consent was much lower. People would die in their 30s, therefore, girls had to be married off at the age of 12, 13, arranged marriages. To say that Melissa is not, you know, is not like viable is just ignorant, and you are a fraudulent fan of Lord of Mysteries. I know motherfuckers gonna pull up and say shit like that. Shut up! Shut your dumb ass up! There definitely is like an argument to be made about like injecting your modern 2025 North American culture into other animes. Like for example, Mushoku Tensei constantly gets a argument about this, right? It's like, why would you impose your real life like ideals and cultures and laws and whatever into a fantasy world where they just clearly don't really care about that, right? Because we're not living in that world. We're watching it from Earth, and if other people starts engaging in this kind of behavior, it's not like Chibi's living in Mushoku Tensei world, is he, huh? If he was, then I guess people wouldn't care, but we're clearly living in reality, right? These are some crazy big assumptions just from looking at profile. For the sake of your sanity, please go outside and touch some grass. Thoughts? What is this? And again, this is again like people, and I just don't understand why Chibi just makes it so easy for, he gives himself too much ammo to his like haters, right? Because the post here is 4 days ago, good morning, remember to kiss your sister. And I think that has to do with Yosuka no Sora, right? That's the incest anime, right? Like there's a guy, there's like a brother and a sister, they both got silver hair, and yeah, it's stuff like that, right? And then he has a tweet saying, here's my dad, sister, niece, and I chilling at the beach having a blast. Now, I don't know if this post is doctored, because like if he is quote retweeting his own incest post and then posting his own sister into this, it does come off very weird. But this is just a screenshot, and I definitely could assume that it's been photoshopped. I have no clue. And then you're gonna give people ammo like this and say it's such a disgusting thing to post considering you have a little sister, dude. Actually fuck off, right? This is the thing with Chibi, man. Like, he has built not only a fandom of, you know, people that support him over years, because he's an OG. He's been doing this for many years, like a decade plus. And while doing so, he's constantly been rage farming online too, especially off of the gooning content. And he's constantly at wars with like battle shonen retards and these so-called hood weebs. That's what they call them online apparently. And it's like, it's never, nothing ever good comes out because he constantly like puts gasoline on the fire rather than ignoring it or just like quenching the flames and doing something else because he's farming for engagement. That in turns makes more people volatile and will say shit like he's a pedophile, that he's like, he should be on an FBI watch list and stuff like that. And they'll exaggerate like partial truth and stuff that may seem on the spectrum to be absolute and demonize him for that. And it's just like, such a bad look because he constantly gives them ammo, and if that's his intention, then I guess so be it. I just feel like, and I'm just saying this because like I genuinely care for the guy, and the death threats and the doxing he gets, I just feel like there's got to be a better way to do crowd control than this. Like, is $200 a week really worth all of, you know, these insane people just like saying shit? Like, if you look at some of the stuff like this, person quoted me asking for literal CSEM. It's a Boruto fan, checks out. This is what I'm talking about. He's always arguing with battle shonen children. Someone should make an R34 over your family because no way you're a real person. Then you have Boruto stuff going on, right? Yeah. And it's also funny because the profile picture here is Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. And Vinland Saga, if you don't know, maybe this is, you know, Thorfinn's mindset season 1 before he's acknowledged the I have no enemies, right? But if you're truly a Vinland Saga fan, then you should understand the themes of I have no enemies, therefore going out and making shit like this, it feels like you got a lot of enemies, bro. Right? Why are there so many radical fans of a mid-show? Truly bizarre. It's because they're kids, bro. This answer is a very, this question is a very simple answer. It's stupid kids. Think back to when you were 16 or 15 or 14. Maybe you are. If you are, don't say that on Twitch. You're gonna get banned. Kids are edgy. They don't know how to sympathize with actual like heavy shit in real life. They've never had friends die, parents die, experience real tragedy. If they did, they'd be able to empathize with other people on a deeper level. Children have no semblance of what is right or wrong. They don't really exist on a spectrum of morality. They just think edgy is funny. Saying slurs, being racist, all of this shit is just funny. Calling death, and guess what? Guess what the biggest demographic is in shows like Boruto? It's children. That's the case. That's why it's. I truly believe that there should be an age limit of like when you're allowed to go on social media. Because most of the times when you're getting angry and you're reading crazy ass posts, it's the thoughts of a stupid 17-year-old kid, man. We all need to make a petition to report his Gooner content now. We need to protect our precious Melissa. I don't advocate for, you know, brigading. I don't get what was wrong about the original post. To me, it didn't even look like he was mentioning NSF fan art. Just fan art in general, but then people started spamming him with death messages. Well, here's the thing, right? You are right that he did not explicitly say, at, like, Rule 34. But if you're familiar with this Kai content, just click on his profile. Like, what do you think he's suggesting? Of course, he's talking about sexualizing Melissa. If you don't think that's the case, I think you're being a bit disingenuous. And, or, you just don't know about Chibi. I assume he has a history with lolly content. I've seen a lot of other people have problems with him, but never quite elaborate. I've seen only one video from him, and it's on Lord of Mystery. He has a history of promoting underage NSFW content. I don't know what they're talking about here. If this is... I'm gonna stay out of the business here. Someone needs to graph the fate of death by eating excrement to him. More Lord of the Mysteries out of context references. Provocations or under the influence of the fooling authority, call it. More new characters. I've never seen this dude post for 5 years after I block him. You guys should do the same. Silence. May Allah strike it. Let's not wage wars with content creators unnecessarily. He didn't even say anything that bad. Negative 17 votes. You know, I think that this comment is quite level-headed, right? I think it is. Obviously, the negative 17 is all coming from people who are avid fans of, you know, Melissa, and they don't want people to loot her. Chibi have horrible history. If we let him do anything, Lord of the Mysteries' reputation will be tarnished. Also, what do you mean it's not that bad? I think that, again, like, Chibi does not represent the Lord of the Mysteries, like, fandom or reputation. Like, big creators with sizable followings will simply tap into different trends, myself included. Not saying I'm a big creator, but we all do it because this is a business. You want to tap into trends and farm what is trending. But that doesn't mean we represent your fandom. So to think that like you need to have like a crusade against these people, no. They'll simply just disappear and go chase after the new trend, and you don't have to really worry about this. And also, who cares about this? Like, genuinely, like who do you think is like, you know, like this is the most like chronically online shit too. This is the most unemployed behavior, as in no one really cares about this fringe example. You think this shit's gonna go mainstream? No. This is like gonna do nothing. Yeah, you see 7K impressions on Twitter, but that just means people simply saw it and scrolled by it. Like, none of this shit matters at the end of the day. On a grand scale of like the average, if you ask the average Lord of the Mysteries fans, nobody gives a fuck about drama like this. This is like the most like terminally online people like us just farming the most like vocal minority just stuff happening. He actually didn't say anything extreme at first. He just mentioned fan arts. Again, the implication is, I think, very condemning. It was the brain-dead fans who overreacted and started sending him death threats. And yeah, they send him death threats because Chibi has a habit and a pattern of behavior of constantly engaging this volatile behavior where he skirts the edges and hints at stuff very provocatively, and then he enrages those schizo retards who then call him all these different ridiculous things that he actually isn't. Only after that did he double down. I'm not a fan of Chibi reviews either. His content feels like lower for slop, but sending death threats over some rage bait is completely unacceptable. I agree with this part, right? To call rage bait, like listen, there is a clear distinction between him rage baiting and you guys then calling like death threats onto him. That is on a different scale. But he just makes it so easy for him to become a target. And if that's his intention, I just don't know if that's a good idea. For $200 extra a week, like, there's no way bro's that struggling. He's doing well on YouTube. Tarnish? We're gonna tarnish our community reputation even more if we seek fights against content creators. How old are you? Why do you care about what he say? Let him talk alone. Listen, I think that Comfortable Foot 377, he's getting dogpiled here, but he's right. Genuinely, who gives a fuck? This is like teenage drama. And of course he's gonna get ratioed in this subreddit post, but I support this guy, dude. As a content creator, has much more influence over non-Lord of the Mysteries fans. Sure, he does have vast platform and influence, but just because he has a platform, that doesn't mean, like, you are basically saying if Chibi says some out-of-hand shit that truly damages the Lord of the Mysteries fandom, that people will simply just eat that shit up without even critical thinking. I think that's insulting to the vast majority of the public. Just because you have a big fandom, a big following, a big subscriber base, doesn't mean all those people are going to agree with you. If you say some out-of-hand shit that doesn't represent what the fandom necessarily wants, he's going to get fucked for it. To think that, again, like, somehow they're automatically all just going to listen to him, I think you are underestimating the general public, man. What do you think will happen if someone looks for a creator, sees a verified channel, which for some reason publicly gooning to an underage drawn character? They probably think that that verified channel is fucking weird and move on to other creators that don't engage in that behavior and simply and just watch that content instead. Again, you are over-exaggerating the actual behavior of human beings and underestimating the average person. Yeah, the public is stupid, but they have at least the base like competency to understand, is this creepy or is this right? Like, I don't agree that like simply because someone has a big platform that everyone is just going to accept their thoughts. This is a free market of ideas and opinions. That's it. Saying you don't want problematic content creators in your fandom is valid. Yeah, sure. Not necessarily bad, sure, but it is fucking weird. I think that this comment perfectly summarizes this entire thread, bro. Chibi is weird. He freaky, bro. He absolutely freaky deaky. And if he wants to jack off to this shit, go ahead, man. But to send him death threats and to call all these nasty things and dox his family and stuff like that, that is insanity. But Chibi makes it so easy to be hated. And I've noticed this over the years of farming his content, because I don't visit the Twitter side, I stay on the YouTube side. But at the end of the day, everyone is just simply impression farming. And if this is the decision that he's made intentionally to tank the negative criticism and hate, I just feel like there's gotta be a better way to approach this, bro. I just feel like there's gotta be a better way to approach this, bro. I think that this is unsustainable, unhealthy. Eventually, you're going to create even more schizo people that will hate you for who you are and take all your takes and exaggerate them and be the most disingenuous they can be. And it doesn't really just help your cause. But hey, I'm not his PR manager. You do whatever you want, I guess. Bye-bye.